Hey there, speed demons. Slow down, guys. Did you know that speed kills? Today, we're diving into the dark side of the automotive world. Forget sleek designs and roaring engines. We're talking about the metal monsters that have sent chills down the spines of drivers everywhere. Buckle up, because we're counting down the top 4 cars so dangerous, they're known for killing drivers. These are the automotive misfits, the engineering failures, the cars that even I, a man who's driven his fair share of lemons, wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole. Right, let's start with a bang, shall we? And not just any bang, but one that shook the automotive world to its core. And when I say bang, I mean a literal fiery explosion. Picture this. You're driving down the road, minding your own business, when suddenly, your car turns into a fireball. Coming in at number 4, we have the Ford Pinto, a car that's more flammable than a petrol station during a heat wave. This car was supposed to be Ford's answer to the compact car craze of the 1970s, but it ended up being a rolling disaster. Now, I'm all for a bit of power, but the Pinto took it a tad too far. It wasn't just about speed or performance, it was about the sheer danger lurking beneath its hood. You see, this little devil had a nasty habit of turning into a raging inferno upon even the slightest rear-end collision. Imagine driving a car where a simple fender bender could turn into a life-threatening situation. It's like Ford designed a car specifically for a Michael Bay film. Explosions, fire, and chaos, all packed into one compact vehicle. The problem was the fuel tank. It was a ticking time bomb waiting to go off. They stuck it right behind the rear axle, like an afterthought you'd find on a napkin sketch. This placement made it incredibly vulnerable to punctures and leaks during collisions. One love tap and boom, you're enjoying a barbecue you didn't sign up for. The fuel tank would rupture, gasoline would spill, and in a matter of seconds, the car would be engulfed in flames. I mean, can you imagine the lawsuits? Families devastated, lives lost, and all because of a design flaw that could have been avoided. Ford had to pay out millions. The legal battles were intense and the settlements were astronomical. It was a PR nightmare for the company. It's a lesson in automotive design, folks. Don't turn your customers into human torches. The Ford Pinto serves as a grim reminder of what can happen when cost-cutting measures and poor design choices collide. Safety should always be the top priority, no matter the cost. Back in the day, the Pinto was marketed as an affordable, stylish option for the everyday driver. Little did buyers know they were getting more than they bargained for. Engineers and designers have learned a lot since then. Modern cars undergo rigorous safety testing to ensure that such catastrophic failures are a thing of the past. Today, we have crumple zones, airbags, and advanced safety features that protect occupants in ways the Pinto never could. It's a testament to how far we've come in automotive safety. The Ford Pinto now holds a place in history, not just as a car, but as a cautionary tale. It's a relic of a time when the industry learned some of its hardest lessons. So next time you see a vintage Pinto, remember the story behind it. It's more than just a car, it's a symbol of progress and the importance of putting safety first. And as we drive our modern, safer vehicles, let's be grateful for the advancements that keep us and our loved ones safe on the road. The Pinto may have been an exploding time bomb, but it also sparked a revolution in car safety. Next up, we have a car so notorious it earned itself a book title, the Chevrolet Corvair, deemed unsafe at any speed. Now that's not exactly the kind of endorsement you want on your car advert, is it? The Corvair was a classic case of good intentions gone horribly wrong. They tried to be clever, see, with a rear engine design like a budget Porsche. But what they ended up with was a car that handled like a shopping cart on ice. One minute you're cruising, the next you're doing pirouettes on the highway. It was a recipe for disaster, and disaster is what they got. The Corvair became synonymous with rollovers, spin-outs, and generally terrifying driving experiences. It's enough to make you want to stick to bicycles, I tell you. Yugo GV, the budget death trap. Now, I'm all for a bargain, but there are some things in life you don't want to skimp on. A good steak, a decent bottle of scotch, and most definitely, a car that won't fall apart at the first sign of rain. Enter the Yugo GV, a car that makes a rusty wheelbarrow look like a Rolls-Royce. This Yugoslavian monstrosity was the automotive equivalent of a discount bin DVD, cheap, nasty, and best left untouched. The build quality was about as solid as a wet paper bag, and the safety features? Well, let's just say they were optional. Actually, scratch that, they were non-existent. Driving a Yugo was like playing Russian roulette with your life. You never knew if the brakes would work, The engine would seize, or the entire car would simply disintegrate beneath you. The Yugo GV was introduced in the mid-1980s, a time when the market was ripe for affordable cars. People were looking for budget-friendly options, and the Yugo seemed to fit the bill perfectly. It was small, it was cheap, and it promised to be the car for everyone. But as the saying goes, you get what you pay for. The car was manufactured in Yugoslavia, a country not exactly known for its automotive prowess. The assembly line was a far cry from the precision and quality control you'd find in a German or Japanese factory. Corners were cut, and it showed. The Yugo GV was plagued with issues right from the start. The engine was a 1.1-liter four-cylinder that produced a measly 55 horsepower. It was underpowered, to say the least. The car struggled to reach highway speeds, and once it did, it felt like it was going to shake apart. The transmission was clunky, and shifting gears was more of a guessing game than a precise action. Inside, the Yugo GV was no better. The interior was a sea of cheap plastic and poorly fitted panels. The seats were uncomfortable, and the dashboard looked like it was designed by someone who had never seen a car before. There were no modern conveniences, no power windows, no air conditioning, and certainly no advanced safety features. On the road, the Yugo GV was a nightmare. The steering was vague and unresponsive, making it difficult to keep the car in a straight line. The suspension was so soft that the car would bounce and sway with the slightest bump or turn. And let's not even talk about the brakes. Stopping the Yugo was more of a suggestion than a command. And then there was the issue of reliability. The Yugo GV was notorious for breaking down. It was not uncommon for owners to experience engine failures, electrical issues, and even water leaks. Yes, water leaks. The car was so poorly sealed that rainwater would find its way inside, turning the interior into a soggy mess. It's no surprise that the Yugo GV quickly gained a reputation as one of the worst cars ever made. It was a car that promised affordability, but delivered nothing but headaches. Today, the Yugo GV is a relic of a bygone era, a cautionary tale of what happens when you try to cut too many corners in the name of saving a few bucks. Despite its many flaws, the Yugo GV has found a place in automotive history. It's a car that people love to hate, and it serves as a reminder that sometimes you really do get what you pay for. So the next time you're tempted by a bargain, remember the Yugo GV and think twice before you skimp on quality. Porsche 911, the Widowmaker. And finally, we come to a car that's a bit of a head-scratcher. The Porsche 911, a legend on the track, but also a car with a rather unfortunate nickname, the Widowmaker. Now don't get me wrong, the 911 is a fantastic piece of engineering. It's fast, it's stylish, and it can handle like a dream. But in the wrong hands, well, let's just say it could be a bit of a handful. You see, early models of the 911 had this nasty habit of trying to kill you if you weren't careful. The rear engine layout, while great for performance, made it prone to sudden and rather dramatic oversteer. One minute you're carving corners like a pro, the next you're doing 360s into a ditch. It was a car that demanded respect, and if you didn't give it the respect it deserved, well, let's just say it had a way of making you pay. The Porsche 911's reputation as the Widowmaker wasn't just a fluke or a catchy nickname. It was born out of real experiences and real dangers. The car's unique rear engine design, which places the engine behind the rear axle, was both its greatest strength and its Achilles heel. This layout provided incredible traction and acceleration, especially in a straight line. However, it also meant that the car's weight distribution was heavily biased towards the rear, making it prone to oversteer. Oversteer, for those unfamiliar with the term, is when the rear wheels lose grip before the front wheels, causing the car to spin out. In the early 911S, this could happen quite suddenly and without much warning. Drivers who were not prepared for this characteristic often found themselves in precarious situations. The car required a skilled hand and a deep understanding of its dynamics to be driven safely at high speeds. Despite these challenges, the 911 was and still is beloved by many. Its quirks and demands only added to its allure. For those who mastered it, the 911 offered a driving experience like no other. The connection between driver and machine was almost symbiotic. Every input, every movement was felt and responded to with precision. It was a car that rewarded skill and punished complacency. Over the years, Porsche has made numerous improvements to the 911, addressing many of the issues that earned it the Widowmaker moniker. modern 911s are equipped with advanced electronic aids and refined engineering that make them far more forgiving and accessible to a wider range of drivers. However, the essence of the car remains unchanged. It is still a machine that demands respect and rewards those who take the time to understand it. The story of the Porsche 911 is a testament to the enduring appeal of a car that has remained true to its roots while continuously evolving. It is a symbol of engineering excellence and a reminder that sometimes the most rewarding experiences come from the greatest challenges. The 911 is not just a car, it is a legend, a piece of automotive history that continues to captivate and inspire. So, whether you're a seasoned driver or a newcomer to the world of high-performance cars, the Porsche 911 offers something truly special. It is a car that has stood the test of time, a car that has evolved but never lost its soul. The Widowmaker may have tamed its wild side, but it remains a thrilling and unforgettable ride for those who dare to take the wheel. Outroad drive safe or end up in the scrap heap. So there you have it, folks. The top 4 cars that are better left in the junkyard. These automotive abominations serve as a stark reminder that progress isn't always a straight line, and sometimes it takes a few spectacular failures to learn what not to do. Remember, drive safe and choose your ride wisely. Catch you in the next video.